2 weeks ago in the win at New England, Dak Prescott felt a pop in his right calf after throwing a touchdown pass to CeeDee Lamb on the game's final play. And remember, it was week 5 of last season when he suffered an ankle dislocation and fractured fibula on the same side. And Dak said perhaps the lack of mobility in his ankle contributed to this injury, a tear in the belly of the calf. Now, it's an important muscle responsible for pushing off the ground when throwing and running. Typically, this injury needs about 4 weeks to heal, but no timetable has been set for Dak yet.
I thought that was really interesting from Tafoya there, that report. Shannon, in your opinion, what's going on here?
Well, Skip, we know this, Skip. Normally, if you have something, you would affect something else. So lack of mobility in the ankle area, all of a sudden you don't get full range of motion in the calf becomes tight, and then all of a sudden you're more susceptible for injuring the calf. It's just like anything. You got a sore knee, you start compensating, then you mess your hip up, then you mess your ankle up, you mess your back up. And maybe that's what happened with Dak. But Jerry Jones told me, Skip, what was his word? Jerry said that's not even a thought.
Not a thought. And Shannon Sharp told me that we did scale of 1 to 10, how much faith do you have in Dak starting on Sunday night? And you were a 10.
I was a 10. And
I told you I had my doubts all week.
You had your doubts. But I'm going on Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones had seen the imagery. He had seen the MRI, the CAT scan, or whatever else they run, ultrasound, whatever they had done. I'm sure Jerry Jones was impressed with what. So he put out false information. So now I can't take him at his word anymore, Skip. But I think this was more about Cousins. I think they said, you know what, we can win this game without Dak, and we can give him an extra week. Because remember, Skip, they were coming off the bye. He did some work, and then so they probably, who knows, they play the Broncos this Sunday. They might even give him another week.
They might.
This offense is good enough. Now, I don't know. We're going to find out when they start playing the upper tier, they make it to the playoffs, which they will because they're in that division. But they seem to have a very good football team. When you play, say, the Rams, or you play the Bucks, or you play one of these upper-tier teams, the Packers or the Cardinals, a team that can score points, you can't beat them with Cooper Rush. And you need a healthy Dak Prescott because he's going to need to be able to get out of harm's way. And I think they thought that, you know what, if we play Dak, yeah, he can get around, but what happens if Zimmer starts to heat him up? I don't want him to stress that calf any more than he has to. And because it's Kirk Cousins, I believe we can beat them without Dak. And so they erred on the side of caution, gave him an extra week. Would I be surprised, knowing what we know and hearing Michelle Tafoya explain it the way she did, would I be surprised if he didn't start this week? No, I would not.
No,
Skip.
you would not.
No, I would not be surprised at all. So give him as much time as that he needs to make sure this thing, because, Skip, you don't want this thing to linger, because you believe, Troy believes, and a lot of people believe that this is as good a chance as they have of getting to and possibly winning the Super Bowl since '95.
Yes, sir.
And you don't want to be derailed with a nagging calf injury.
Okay. Allow me to start by saying Michelle Tafoya has extreme credibility.
Yes.
I have the highest regard for her reporting in the NBC Sunday night telecast. First-rate, top drawer. So when they go with something this strongly, I am all ears. And when I heard this...
Had the diagram and everything.
Whew, I got to tell you, I fell on the floor. I was like, what?
Because we had never heard pop, Skip. We didn't
hear pop, but we didn't hear tear. We heard strain. He strained it. It's going to be just fine.
And I could have continued to play if needed to.
Pop, tear? Tear is bad.
It is.
And she said 4-week injury. It is. It's at least a 4-week injury.
Because that's at least what Michael Gallup had to have had. He's been out almost 8 weeks.
Thank you. And no end in sight. So now I segue to what Chris Collinsworth said later in the telecast. He said, I'm paraphrasing, you know, I watched Dak warm up. USA Today reported he warmed up for 38 minutes at high voltage, like he was moving around, and we saw it. We see him in pregame. I'm not saying he's going 1,000%, but he's pushing off. And Chris Collinsworth asked the question. First he said, when I saw him working out pregame, going through his routine, Chris said, silly me, I thought he was going to start the game. And then they heard just before kickoff, just a few minutes before kickoff, no. Okay, so help me out here, because I wondered the same thing Chris voiced, which was, if it's pop and tear in 4 weeks, what are you doing? Why are you out there?
I don't think it can't be that serious if he's doing that.
Why are you threatening it? Right? Okay, so now we're back to Crazy Jerry. I love Jerry with all my heart and soul, and I spent so many hours around him, but he can be a little off sometimes. And to me, between him and Mike McCarthy, I've told you from the start, this team is going to have to win in spite of them.
Yes.
Because they both want to puff up and show you they're the smartest man in the room, and they want to show the rest of the NFL, we got this. We know how to do this. I believe it wasn't just about Kirk Cousins. It may have been a little bit about that. But the Vikings have been playing pretty well. They should have won at Arizona. The kicker missed a 37-yard field goal that could have walked them off with a win at Arizona. That would be highly impressive. And they've had their moments. Yeah. And they're at home. It's a raucous Halloween night crowd. And I'm thinking, you know, this is pretty scary. Could be scary. Right. But what I think they were paying the most attention to is the team they fear the most, the team that you thought had the best shot at Dallas, was Washington. Right. And Washington had just lost at Broncos to Teddy Bridgewater. Right. Very low scoring. What was it, 17-10? 17-10. Well, they fell to 2-6. And I think Jerry's saying, we got this. Right?
Right.
What do we care?
And he's anticipating the Giants losing tonight to Kansas City.
Obviously, he would. And Philly had won, but it was, you said earlier, it's just Detroit, so not a shocking win there. So I think they just sat back and said, why should we risk it? Well, I ask you back, why did you risk having him work out before the game at all? Because that's just wrong. Right. That's just silly Jerry, you know, letting him work out. But could Dak have played last night? I assume if it was a playoff game, he would have just sucked it up and gone. Would he have re-injured, aggravated? I don't know, maybe.
Or a chance to get the #1 seed. Okay. Or the chance to be the #2 seed, Skip. You know what I'm saying? To avoid. Because the thing is, it's all about matchups. If all things being equal, Skip, I'm trying to dodge the Rams. I'm trying to potentially dodge the Buccaneers. Agree? Let me get one of them wild card teams. Let me get one of the wild card teams. I'm not trying to see Arizona or the Rams or the Green Bay or the Bucs in the first round.
And they got a break yesterday. The Bucs lost.
The Bucs lost.
Brady threw a pick six. They lost at New Orleans, and all of a sudden they fall to 2 losses. Correct. And Dallas is still sitting there at 1, and they're saying, we got a shot. Right. Okay. They got away with Cooper Rush, but they don't think they just got away with him. They flourished with him. Yes. He threw the winning touchdown pass on the road. So they're saying, you know what? We raised him. He's one of our own. Yeah. We'll show you, right? Yeah. And now I will not be surprised if they say, you know what? Denver, we got this. Teddy Bridgewater, we got this. Our defense is playing at a high level. We can hold Teddy to maybe 14 points. Right. We can figure out a way to score 17 or 20 on Denver's defense.
And Cooper Rush, Skip, the man ain't throw for 240. The man ain't throw for 200. He's barely 200. The man threw for 325 and 2 touchdowns.
Feeling themselves today. They are full of themselves about, we got Cooper Rush. We just showed the world we got Cooper. Why not put Dak on ice one more time here? Right. Then they got another home game against Atlanta, who lost again yesterday, and they just looked pathetic. I thought Kyle Pitts was going to be a monster. He had one monster game yesterday, disappeared again. So my point is, they're looking at Denver and Atlanta. We got this, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he sits out both of those games.
It wouldn't shock me, but who knows? All I know, it all feels meant to be.
Yes.
Thank you.
Your chances go up exponentially if you got 4 in the center come playoff time.
Yep.
Skip, as good as you guys are, I don't believe you can beat any of the possible teams you play. Maybe the first round. Yep. But if you get the Rams, you get the Buccaneers, you're not beating them with Cooper Rush, Skip. No. You're just not.
Well, obviously not. And I beat the table over here for weeks. Go sign Cam Newton. We're going to talk about Cam in a few minutes here. But the point was, Jerry said, no, I got this. We got a homegrown here. We got Cooper Rush. Watch what we do.
And a lot of teams like to do, Skip. A lot of teams like to do that. A guy that's been in my system 2, 3 years, 4 years. He knows the system. We've got tremendous talent around him. We're not asking him to do a whole lot, Skip.
Yeah. Hey, I've watched a whole lot of Cooper Rush in preseason games. Right. Up and down, hit and miss.
Yes.
I'm going to be scared to death if they go with Cooper Rush against Denver, because Denver's defense is still very good to me.
But, Skip, it scared you because, hold on, he was with Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett brought him with him to New York.
He did.
And all of a sudden, Jason Garrett cut him.
Nope, he did.
Like, hold on. Yep. You brought me here. You mean to tell me? So I'm sure that gave you some cause to pause, but I thought he played really well. Not great. But he made some big-time throws when he needed to make them. He didn't miss Cedric Wilson. He didn't miss Amari Cooper on that touchdown. And that's all you can ask for.
All right, guys. Well, Tom Brady and the Bucs had a game slip through their fingers just a little bit in New Orleans yesterday. Our guys give the quarterback a
Snatched it.
letter grade.
Snatched it from him. Oh, Trevor
grade
Simeon.
after the break.